Ep 1. In the beginning we see a boy named Yoshino Takagawa walking down the road and is approached by his friend, Mihiro Fua, and who is taking his sister Eika Fua home. It seems there is some tension between Eika and Yoshino and she dislikes him. A scene of a beach is shown, and there a girl comes out of a barrel. Hakaze Kusorai, the magician of Genesis, is abandoned inside a barrel on a deserted island. She curses a man named Salmon, which indicates that he has to do something with her being abandoned here. She is looking weak and says that she can't use magic in this place. On a cruise, some people say to Salmon if is it enough to stop the princess, and he tells them that on this island she will be unable to get the offerings required to use magic, making her no different than an ordinary girl, and will die there. Princess realizes that Salmon must have enacted a barrier around the island to make it invisible, and she can't get help from outside. She feels hungry and decides to gather food. On the other hand, Yoshino is seen in his class. His friend Mihiro has disappeared without notice, and it has been a month since his disappearance. On his way back, Yoshino is jumped by 5 bullies who beat him and take his money. He thinks how he can't fight 5 people alone, but if Mihiro was here things would have been different. A flashback reveals that Yoshino and Mihiro once took a fight with 15 opponents at once and get scolded by Eika, who blame Yoshino. Later, while visiting a grave, Yoshino is approached by Evangeline Yamamoto and she asks him about Mihiro. She threatens him with a gun and asks more about Mihiro. He tells her about Eika and that he loved her very much. She asks where is Eika now, and he tells her behind her in the grave, meaning the grave was of Eika Fua, who was Yoshino's girlfriend. A flashback reveals how Eika died, and the police said it was at the hand of some thugs who broke into her house. Mihiro is not satisfied with the police as they are making no progress, and he decides to take matters into his own hands. In present, they get surrounded by butterflies. It is winter, and they should be in cocoons. Yoshino starts to fight her, but she is too much for him. She quickly throws him to the ground and pick up a shotgun. With a flash of light, Mihiro come there and save him. Mihiro is using some magic or power. Mario asks Yoshino about her. Evangeline shoots him, but the bullet is stopped by a force field. She deduces that he met a mage and asks him what is his connection to the Black Iron Syndrome. They fight and Evangeline faints. He takes Mihiro, and while going down they come across a man affected by Black Iron disease, whose body turns into metal. The whole city is affected by this. It looks like a disease but is magic, and it has affected other cities before this, but Goth hide the fact and quarantine the area. Same will happen to this city too. Yoshino asks why is he not affected, and Mihiro says because he was with him at the time. Yoshino inquires about the issue, and Mihiro says that there is a magical family, Kusarai, trying to awaken the Tree of Exodus, and the iron disease is just the beginning, and only one person, namely Hakaze, can stop it. He shows Yoshino a doll through which he and Hakaze contact each other. Hakaze remind Mihiro of their deal to find Eika's murderer for him in exchange for helping her stop the resurrection of the Tree of Exodus. Yoshino asks him how he met her, and Mihiro says he found the doll in a bottle on the shore. He followed the instructions he found inside and was able to talk to him. Mihiro says to Yoshino that his parents are in another city so they will be safe, and ask about her girlfriend. Yoshino says she is not here as well. A strange thing comes out of the ocean and they get ready to fight them. Ep 2, a flashback show how Akia and Yoshino have a secret relationship as Mihiro was against her having a BF. Yoshino asks Mihiro what is that thing, and Mihiro answers that it is a fruit, and they are appearing all over the country. Once they will combine they will form the Tree of Exodus, which will doom them and they have to prevent it. Mihiro says let's go, and Yoshino asks where, and Mihiro says where it all began. They come outside Mihiro and Eika's home and the place of Eika's death. He asks Hakaze to better keep her part of the bargain, and he enters the house. Inside, Hakaze asks Mihiro to take a stainless steel knife from the talisman. Talismans are things that embody magic. Before getting stranded, Hakaze hid all these talismans, which after coming in contact with one's body then work on her verbal command, allowing users to use simple magic. But their number of users is limited. Yoshino wonders if they can fight real magic with these things. Mihiro set the knife on the ground and Hakaze chats the magic. Mihiro tells Yoshino he should leave. He gives him a talisman that will protect him from iron disease and will allow him to move at high speed. He tells Mihiro to avoid butterflies, which indicates the arrival of the fruit, and tells him that after dealing with Eika's killer he will be back and then he will meet his girlfriend. While leaving, Yoshino is found by Evangeline and she starts to attack him. He uses the talisman to escape from her and hides in the school. She finds him, and while fighting they fall down the roof. Yoshino saves her using talisman and asks to make a deal. On the other side, Mihiro finds a common thing between Eika's murder and Hakaze's exile. He comes across Natsumura, one of Salmon's men, and despite Hakaze's disapproval starts to fight him. Natsumura summons a spear and Hakaze asks Mihiro to steer clear of him. He informs Salmon that he found a boy who is not affected by iron disease and is using Hakaze's magic. Salmon asks him to get him in alive. Evangeline and Yoshino have struck a deal, and for time being Evangeline agrees. She asks him to stay away from the case and not endanger his life for Mahiro. He says, "My girlfriend also used to say this." She inquires if his girlfriend also got affected by black iron disease, and he tells her she died a year ago. And this openly confirms that his girlfriend was Akia. Mahiro engages Natsumura. Evangeline asks if Yoshino also wants revenge like Mario, and he says that he is different and taking revenge will change nothing and will not bring her back, and start walking away. Ep 3, Natsumura and Mahiro are engaging in a battle, and while fighting Mahiro, Natsumura confirms that this power is of Hakaze. Mahiro has a hard time fighting Natsumura as he is an expert mage while Mahiro is a counterfeit at the best. Mahiro evades him and hides somewhere. Yoshino gets there and says that he wants to help him fight, and Mahiro tells him he should have come back. Yoshino says that if his girlfriend will learn that he left his friend in danger, she will not be happy. They both start to evade Natsumura, and Hakaze says to Mahiro that fighting him is not beneficial for them and asks him to retreat. He does not listen and goes to fight and hands the doll to Yoshino. As Mahiro fights Natsumura, Hakaze tells Yoshino about magic. Yoshino learns from Hakaze how to activate the talismans. Hakaze explains that her clan practice magic for defense and healing, and there is no attack move. Natsumura is using a defense shield as an offensive tool. Their magic power arises from the Tree of Genesis. There are two conditions. The practitioner of magic must hail from the Kusoribe clan, and they must offer some man-made thing. Mahiro is in a tough spot and his talismans are being used up. Then he has a memory of Eika, and he gets up to fight. Hakaze asks Yoshino to stop Mahiro as the place is filled with man-made things and suitable offerings for Natsumura, giving him an advantage. 2 helicopters are spotted by Yoshino that destroy all the exits of the city. He asks if magic can be used to resurrect someone, and she denies it. Yoshino manages to regroup with Mahiro and drive off Natsumura, and they escape. He informs Salmon of their escape. While on a train heading to another city, Mahiro tells Yoshino that someone from the Kusoribe clan has killed Akia. Ep 4, they reach a countryside area where Hakaze has hidden more talismans, and there are a few children playing. There they see a few butterflies flying and realize a fruit is about to appear. Hakaze concludes that Salmon is afraid that she will come back, and he is rushing things. Yoshino spots an old couple and tries to save them by giving them a talisman and explain about the iron disease, but they do not believe him. He tries to save the kids, but it's too late. Mahiro and Yoshino take shelter in an abandoned house whose owner has become a statue. Mahiro take bath and Yoshino prepares food for them. He reveals to Hakaze the history of how they met and became friends. They met when they were children in elementary school. Mahiro was a rude and arrogant type, and Yoshino kept his distance from him. He was forced to visit Mahiro in the hospital when he got in an accident with a runaway thug. Mahiro tells Yoshino that it was an intentional attack and asks him to gather evidence. Yoshino does it and gathers the evidence as he wants to get rid of him. They connect evidence to a chauffeur at Mahiro's dad's work who got fired. Inadvertently, Yoshino was given the role of Mahiro's guardian by their teacher, so it can be said that circumstances brought them together. After that, they eat dinner and go to sleep. Next day, while Yoshino is sleeping and Mahiro is out on a walk, Hakaze asks him the same question. And he also says that a weird accident forced them to stay together and things happened and they became friends. Hakaze tells him that Yoshino told her about that. He says that it is not all. After that accident, Yoshino wrote an essay in which he showed Mahiro as a very good boy and wrote that he cared for everyone and everyone started treating him nicely, which was very weird for him. Hakaze say that what would have happened if you two were not friends. Reply that he might have not been at the place where he is today. This show that he also think that Yoshino is an important part of his life. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.